And it's the mailbag. It's been really long, and we haven't put our mugs up on the screen. I think it's probably about that time. This question seems to kind of encapsulate maybe a lot of what we've already talked about, Corey, but is probably going to be the blueprint for what we're going to be talking about for the next 8 months or so. And it's our guy, the Noles, 24. Let's get some stats on them. Joined November 2019. This is their fourth ever post.
All right. Okay. All right, man.
Fourth ever post.
It's a big one, too. It's a long post. There you go. Yeah. Get your money's worth.
Yeah. We're keeping Norvell, and they have announced the full overhaul of how the program will operate. So what should the administration define right now as the standard for judging real progress next year? If the record ends up in the same 6-6 rather, to 8-4 range, what specific on-field, off-field signs would separate normal growing pains from evidence that Norvell has reached his ceiling? And if the school moves on from him, how do you evaluate whether the new infrastructure plan is working when a new coach will also need time to adjust to it? How do you keep each new phase from resetting the clock and leaving the program unable to judge whether the system itself is actually succeeding? Lots to go and parse right there, Corey. But first, it's generating discussion sparked by Cummins. Cameras are on.
Yeah.
You can do that once or twice, but I need you to push it and hold it down for about 2 times.
And then a gee. Just because I'm still old school.
Yeah. If you're listening to the podcast, Corey likes to do like a cranking his mower on when he does that, and he gives a
lawnmower, cranking a legitimate, literal lawnmower.
When's the last time you mowed a lawn, Corey?
6 months ago or so. I did it for. It's an electric mower though. Those are the best. Yeah. Just charge them up. Yeah, I don't have to not doing any of that either. Just hitting a button.
It is generating discussion sparked by Cummins. CumminsLifestyle on Instagram. Give it a follow. Get lots of inspiration on what you can do when you've got like an RV generator, a portable generator. World's your oyster. Get outside. I know it's a little bit cold, most parts of this great country of ours, but you got a portable generator. You have like a space heater with you. You'll be fine. You got to watch your kid's soccer game in high school. It's cold this time of year. I get it. Get a portable power station. Plug in like a space heater in the stands. You'll be the coolest person there. CumminsLifestyle. It's all one word. Stock absolutely shot through the roof on Monday, by the way, Corey, and I still haven't bought stock.
That's dumb. That's on you. It is. That's on you.
It is. By the way, all of our weekly winners going to the end-of-year grand prize drawing, which is either going to happen next week after the Florida game. I think we'll have one finalist, one final drawing perhaps next week for a contestant, if you will, Corey. And then we're going to go ahead and give away a free Cummins own-in portable generator, everybody. And again, wait till you find out what we're going to give away next year. Follow them on Instagram. That's all we're asking. CumminsLifestyle. It's all one word. All right, Corey. So, lots going on right here. I guess let's start maybe the first part. What should the administration define right now as a standard for real progress in 2026? Because, again, I mean, I don't know. I do think that this is a multi-year, man. And I know 2 years is technically multi-year. And this was year one. Next year will be year two. Yeah. Again, my standard is being in the playoff hunt in November, but I think that maybe even if he doesn't make that hallmark, if you will, Corey, he'll be safe, I think, for 2027, man. What do you think they should define? What could they define as the standard for real progress next year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously wins matter. You can't be, in my opinion, you can't be fiddling around and going winless on the road and being the 14th best team in the ACC. I know these schedules aren't all uneven. Georgia Tech played a much easier schedule than Florida State, blah, blah, blah. 2-6 in the ACC is absurd. So you've got to make some hay in the ACC. That really is my standard, man. To me, that's the standard. You need to get to 6-2 in the ACC. That's not asking for a ton, Aslan. That's not asking for a ton. So go do that, please. It's not that hard to win 6 games in the ACC or 5 games. But it's also like, show us you can win games. Show us you can win on the road. Show us you can improve from week 1 to week 12. Those would all be nice. But also, if you do say have a 7-5 or 8-4 season, nobody's saying that's great, and you shouldn't be taking any bows for it. But are you doing it with a lot of young guys? that you have hope that, okay, another year with this core, then next year they'll be even better? Or are they all one-off rentals? You know what I mean? Like this offense, as much as improved as it is, they might all be gone. Every single starter besides Mekhi Danzy, who worked into a starting role, they might all be gone, and you've got to start over again. This defense, you have some real pieces to work with that should be coming back. The offense, you don't know. So next year, if the offense is pretty good and you win some games and you have a quarterback that's really good, is he coming back the next year? Is he just a sophomore? Or is he bouncing to the NFL and you got to start all over? That's how I think you judge if there's real progress here. Because I don't – but I was going to say, because I don't trust this guy to – even if they have a really good year next year, if it's on the backs of a bunch of one-year rentals, I don't trust this head coach to be able to replicate that in the portal again, because we've seen that happen, and he's failed to replicate it when all the good players left.
I don't think we can answer the second part. If the record ends up in the same 6-6, 8-4, what specific on-field, off-field signs would separate normal growing pains from evidence that Mike has reached his ceiling? I mean, the only way that it would be if like they ended up going to Kevin Sperry as their starting quarterback, right? And he's first-time redshirt freshman quarterback, and there's growing pains like in his development, and then you would feel, okay, one more year, he'll be more comfortable. But I don't think they're going to turn to Kevin Sperry as the solution in 2026. So I don't know really. Again, I mean, they're going to play hard for him, man. They are. Like, he's going to find guys, and they're going to believe in him because that's his MO. Like, he gets guys that believe in him. They like him a lot. They play hard for him, but they don't necessarily make enough plays to win football games, though, unfortunately. If the school moves on from him, how do you evaluate whether the new infrastructure plan is working when a new coach will also need time to adjust to it? Is that eyeball test, Corey? I think like the only way he loses his job is if you see like a clearly talented, more superior talented team, and then they're losing games because they're ill-prepared, right? Like the pre-snap penalties, more special teams gaps, which I think he'll clean some of that stuff up. But will there be a way to tell that you're evaluating better talent, yet he somehow isn't retained?
Yeah, it's a fair question. I'm not smart enough to understand. I'm not smart enough to know the answer to that because again, it changes. It's also there's no way to know. There's just no way to know what even changes are going to be made, and how do you quantify them? How do you quantify whether this GM is really good and he was the reason they got all these talented guys, or was it just the money, or was it them wanting to play for Malzahn or play with Deuce or play for Norvell? Like, there's so many moving parts when it comes to this. It's going to be really hard to know after one season if the changes, whatever structural changes they made, have taken form and been good for the program, especially if you're firing your coach. It's hard to imagine that anything would be good about what you've done if you fire the coach. So that would tell you that you'd have to blow it up and start all over again. You can still restructure it, but whatever you did in this offseason coming up, if you feel the need to let Norvell go or you think he's reached his ceiling, then I don't know what kind of foundational elements would be there for the next head coach. I feel like the next head coach would want to bring in his own pieces, his own people, his own personnel department, and go from there. So it's such a crazy world. It's such a crazy time with this sport. It's hard to predict what it's going to look like even 9 months from now. He needs to win. It would be awesome if he did it with a supremely talented team. Yeah. It's certainly more talented than this year. And also, if this recruiting class, like this past one, I'm talking about the 2026 class, if it's got some dudes in it too, like if it's got an Arnaud and some Desirs and a Boggs and a Cromall, I think they really like Chavez Thompson. If it's got some dudes that they know are real players in this class too, so you've stacked up back-to-back pretty good recruiting classes, then that's something else to believe in. He needs some true freshmen to keep making plays. He needs younger guys to make plays.
Last part of that question, how do you keep each new phase from resetting the clock and leaving the program unable to judge whether the system itself is actually succeeding? Yeah, man, this is a lot more involved than I thought it was going to be.
Well, that's a lot of words, man.
It is a lot of
210 words.
Here, I'm going to ask you. Let me ask you this kind of, Corey. do you think anybody would let's say 3 years from now, it's just not working. He wins 8 games, he wins 9 games, he wins 6 games. It's not working anymore. We're done. Do you think that apparatus that we assume they're going to have in place, right? Can we assume safely there's going to be a new GM? There is most likely going to be some delineation between people whose skill set is to evaluate high school talent versus those who evaluate and have relationships with current existing players that will be available to be in the portal. So that's another part of it.
And who do they report to? Who does the portal department even report
to? That GM. To that everybody responds to that GM. Yeah. The GM creates. He shops for the groceries, man. Like Mike, you don't get to shop for the groceries. You get to cook the dinner, but you don't get to shop for the groceries. Do you think
Jimbo, I hear you're calling, buddy. Yeah. I hear you. Hey, Jimbo, you got a job.
That's what I'm saying. Like, would anybody out there turn that down? Like, I don't know what Kirby's setup is, but I'm sure Kirby has obviously a strong apparatus around him. He's not everything there, but that's my point. So they go this direction, and who knows how the sport's going to look in 3, 5, 7 years. But you feel like with the way it's trending, that this is probably going to be the way forward. So if you create this whole system, this new infrastructure, do you think it's likely, unlikely, give a percentage maybe that your next coach after Mike Norvell would be like, you know what? Actually, I don't need all this, man. I can figure it all out on my own. I can save us this money and yada, yada, yada.
No, I don't think you'd hire him. I think this is the way of the future in this sport, as long as it's set up this way with the NIL and the portal. You can't just have a head coach making all these decisions. Because you might get someone that doesn't quite know what they're doing, and then 2 and 10 happens, So no, you can't risk something like that. We're talking about 3 years down the road. If whatever this apparatus has brought in has been pretty good players, and you've had real talent, you've had an uptick in talent, you've had an uptick in draft picks, you've gotten unlucky maybe in a few games or unlucky with injuries, but overall you like the direction of the talent in the program, then no, the whole point of restructuring is to then stay away from everything going all in on a head coach. I just think those days might be over. I think Lane Kiffin might be the last one where he gets proposed to by 4 different schools. I just don't think this is something that's going to happen much anymore. Like if Kirby was on the open market, sure. But I think people are looking like, do we think the Texas Tech coach is unbelievable? He's good. But I feel like, I think the Texas Tech blueprint is kind of proven what all these other schools might need to do. Anyway, I think you're going to go hire a new head coach. If you like the apparatus you have in place, you're going to hire a new head coach. You're going to give them an NFL-type contract. You're not giving them a 10-year nonsensical $100 million buyout contract. You give them a 4-year, $21 million contract and say you get to be the coach at Florida State. And all you got to do is coach football and relate to some players. We're going to get you the players. And, that I just think that's how this sport needs to run here in the very near future, because it's the NFL. And it's the NFL light. It needs to operate that way and not put so much stock into going and getting the next great head coach.
Speaking of stock.
Oh, yeah, let's see it.
It closed at $485.62. It was up nearly 3%. If you look at they're up 30% in the last year.
Guys, obviously go to CumminsLifestyle and get all the generators you want. Yeah. Go buy some stock too. I mean, we've been telling you this for a year. That thing is just on a rocket ship to the moon.
Let us know how we can enhance your business's impressions out there, everybody. Email me. All right, that's been Generating Discussion, sparked by Cummins. Again, give them a follow on Instagram. Noles behind the operation, sea level, I think. Helping us out here on the program. We always appreciate doing the video breakout. And, follow them on Instagram. CumminsLifestyle, all one word.